Кейli Harris was just 21 years old when she died by apparent suicide on Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Alaska in May. Now, a month later, the Army is returning her body to her family.
Oh, my God. What did she do to herself? Excuse me. That's my daughter. Please, please, just for a second. Hold. Thank you. Thank you.
Ready, step.
Thank you. Why you do this to me? I love you. There was another way. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
You must be Carrie.
Yes.
I'm Gianna.
Gianna, it's
Nice to meet you.
This is my mother, Linda.
Hi, Linda. Very
Hi.
nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Thank you for welcoming us to your home.
I always say she was my tough kid. I mean, whatever she would rise to that challenge, and then like she would tell me in some of her notes in boot camp, she says, I gotta beat these boys. And I mean, she would go for it.
Well, when did Кейli first come out?
She came out with our family when she was around a senior in high school. Her first actual social media post was in January. I was actually kind of shocked by it because I was like, wow, she's really, you know, we would laugh about it. We call her loud and proud.
And I think she was just overall happy. She was happy with herself. She was happy being in the Army, happy being an MP, happy in Alaska.
Be safe, okay?
Yeah. Days after coming out publicly, everything changed. Кейli was repeatedly raped by a fellow service member, according to an Army investigator. The military issued a protective order, barring the alleged rapist from contacting her, but didn't arrest him. Over the next few weeks, Кейli became suicidal and failed her training exercises. The Army then barred her from carrying her military firearm. Carrie immediately noticed a change in her daughter.
Throughout this whole time, I was calling because she was acting so odd to me on the phone. We went from 3 to 4 times, FaceTimes all the time, to none. I got the sergeant's number. I kept calling, no response.
How many times did you call?
14 times. I called the suicide hotline twice.
And did anyone check in on your daughter and get back to you with an update?
No, and they never even called to follow up to see if I ever got through to anybody, even the military crisis suicide hotline.
In late April, just 3 months after the alleged assault, Кейli encountered her rapist face-to-face at a training event, despite having a protective order against him. According to an Army investigator, Кейli was so distraught she had to call a victim advocate for support. The day after this encounter, Кейli bought a gun on base. 2 days after that, she used it to kill herself. After Кейli died, Carrie recorded her calls with the Army's Criminal Investigative Division.
So they put her in a building and she was already under this protective order, correct?
You know, the nature of these investigations are very sensitive and the details are kept confidential. And so it's quite plausible that not everyone knew who the subject of the investigation is.
Then, excuse me, sir, then how is a protection order going to be put in place if nobody knows who the protection order is against and whom? I hope you understand that.
I mean, there's still, it shouldn't have happened.
Do you think your daughter's death could have been prevented?
100%. You know, and that's what I told the agents when I spoke to them. I said it wasn't one ball dropped. There were multiple times that you could have fixed this.
Despite attempts at reform over decades, more and more cases of suicide and sexual assault are reported in the military each year.
The subcommittee meets today to receive testimony on the epidemic of sexual assault in the military.
Now, Congress is considering a bill that would take sexual assault prosecutions out of the chain of command, addressing a long-standing cause of impunity.
After 246 years, it's time for Congress to give the men and women serving our nation a justice system worthy of their sacrifices.
Lieutenant Colonel Don Christensen, who was once the chief prosecutor in the Air Force, says while the bill is a good start, it doesn't go far enough and wouldn't have protected Кейли.
Mental health treatment is critical to making sure these people are taken care of or getting onto the road to recovery. But you got to make sure that they're not being re-triggered by seeing their offender, that we don't give them access to weapons. You know, there should not be a hurry to rearm any soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine who's been sexually assaulted or raped if they're experiencing that trauma. Unfortunately, we've seen a number of cases where particularly young women have killed themselves after being raped in the military. In cases like Кейли, it's absolutely fair for a family to feel like this was a preventable death. They lost their son or daughter because of military inaction, because of military incompetence.
This one's my hard one. This was what she was proud of. And what gets me with this is she told me, she says, I don't have many bars here. She goes, but one day I'm gonna have the whole darn thing full. So this was what she was so proud of. So this was all her stuff. And now it's all I have left.
Кейli was also proud of who she was, which made her a target. 43% of sexual assaults in the military are against lesbian, gay, and bisexual service members, and yet there's no hate crime statute protecting them. In her calls with military investigators, Carrie has continued to push for answers on why there were so few protections for her daughter.
This man that did this to my daughter, he knew she was gay, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you aware of that this is a hate crime, sir? Because he did that to my daughter knowing that she was gay. And are you also aware that my daughter is 21 years old and has never been with a man?
Yes, ma'am.
Carrie feels a responsibility to speak up for other women who she feels are still at risk by her daughter's alleged perpetrator still being free.
I'm trying to figure out how a man, because obviously this probably was not his first time, because in honesty, because I mean, for him to do that and knowing what she was, there's a different type of cloth cut there.
You're exactly right. A lot of times when we investigate, we found out that there are other victims.
Yeah. There were restraining orders, but nothing happened to him. He's still walking that base like nothing happened.
Right now?
Right now.
The military told Vice News that the investigations into Кейli's assault and death are still ongoing. The alleged perpetrator declined to comment through his lawyer. Кейli left a suicide note, blaming her alleged rapist for her death, saying he showed her how people could hurt others for pleasure, that she was too tired and weak to rebuild her strength again. She ended her note by apologizing.
How many times can you fail somebody that is willing to put her life on the line for you? I mean, that's what she does. That's what she signed up to do. But they can't protect her. They didn't protect her. They literally failed.